Seriously, is it too much to ask for my boyfriend to actually, exist in my life? Not just the part that happens between the four walls of our apartment, but the actual, real world part with other human beings. I feel like I'm going crazy here, and I need someone to tell me if I'm the monster for wanting what feels like the bare minimum. Let me be clear, Nathan, 30 million, isn't a bad guy. Far from it, when it's just us, he's damn near perfect. He's a data analyst, incredibly smart, and has this dry wit that can make me cry with laughter. He remembers I hate pickles on my burgers, listens to me rant about my marketing job for hours, and is the most devoted partner I've ever had in private. But the second the outside world gets involved, he becomes a ghost. A phantom. We've been together for a year and a half, and in that entire time, he has not met a single one of my friends. Not one. My friends are my family. They're the people who helped me move, who held my hair back in college, who celebrated every tiny win with me. They are a massive part of my life, and Nathan's complete refusal to engage with them feels like a slap in the face. Every birthday, every barbecue, every casual Friday night drink invite is met with a gentle but firm excuse. I'm swamped with a project, babe. You know I'm not good with big crowds. Can't we just have a quiet night in? It's better with just you anyway. It's gone from a running joke in my friend group, is Alina's mysterious boyfriend finally gracing us with his presence, to just a sad, awkward silence. I see the pity in their eyes. I know what they're thinking, that I'm making him up, that he's ashamed of me, or worse, that I'm ashamed of him. He calls it being an introvert, a preference for quiet. But after 18 months, it feels less like a personality trait and more like a profound disrespect for me and everything that matters to me. It's like he's built this perfect, impenetrable bubble around our relationship, and while it's cozy inside, it's also starting to feel suffocatingly lonely. The pressure point, the moment this whole thing started to unravel, was my best friend Maya's engagement party. This wasn't just another casual get-together, this was a capital E event. Maya is my person, my ride or die since we were teenagers, and this party was the culmination of months of planning and excitement. Everyone was going to be there. My entire social circle, our extended group, people I hadn't seen in ages. And the running gag about the mysterious Nathan had reached a fever pitch. The group chat was buzzing with jokes. Place your bets now, will the elusive boyfriend make an appearance? I'll believe he's real when I see him, Alina. It was all lighthearted, but each message felt like a small, sharp jab under my ribs. The embarrassment was becoming unbearable. I decided this time had to be different. I launched a full-scale campaign. I started soft, leaving the invitation on the kitchen counter where he'd see it, talking excitedly about Maya and her fiancé, dropping hints about how much it would mean to me. When that didn't work, I escalated. I tried pleading. Please, Nathan, just for an hour, for me, it's Maya, you know how important she is. He just gave me that familiar, pained look, the one that made me feel like I was asking him to walk over hot coals. Elena, you know I'm not built for that stuff. It's just noise. I'll be awkward, you won't have fun babysitting me. You go have a great time with your friends and tell me all about it when you get home. That's when I got desperate. I tried making him feel guilty, my voice cracking as I told him how lonely I felt, how it looked like he was hiding me or hiding from my life. It turned into the worst fight we've ever had. I accused him of not loving me enough to endure 2 hours of small talk. He accused me of not respecting his boundaries, of trying to force him into a mold he doesn't fit. Why isn't just us enough for you? He asked, his voice raw with a frustration I'd never heard before. That question broke something in me. It wasn't about him not being enough. It was about me feeling like I was being forced to choose between the two halves of my life. The fight ended with him retreating into his office and shutting the door, leaving me alone in the living room, seething with a potent mix of humiliation and righteous anger. He didn't get it, he just didn't get it at all. Staring at that closed office door, my blood was boiling. The silence from his side of the house was a physical presence, a thick, suffocating blanket of his disapproval. I felt utterly powerless and, more than anything, deeply, profoundly humiliated. He had made me look like a fool to my friends again. He had taken my plea, my vulnerability, and twisted it into an unreasonable demand. I snatched my phone off the coffee table, my thumbs flying across the screen as I opened the group chat. I needed backup, I needed validation. I needed my friends to be on my side, to tell me I wasn't the crazy one. I started typing, the words pouring out in a torrent of frustration. You guys won't believe this. Nathan is refusing to come to Maya's party. We just had a massive blowout. The responses were immediate and exactly what I craved. No way after all this. Alina, that's so messed up. I'm so sorry. What is his actual problem? Their sympathy was like a drug, a warm rush that momentarily soothed the sting of rejection, but it wasn't enough. It was too soft, too understanding. I didn't want them to see this as just another one of Nathan's quirks. I wanted them to be as angry as I was. I needed to paint a picture that justified my rage, to make his refusal seem not just inconsiderate but malicious. I needed to be the victim, not just the girlfriend of a difficult man. And that's when the thought, ugly and insidious, slithered into my mind. The lie presented itself fully formed and venomous. He checks my phone, it was perfect. It was the kind of accusation no one questions, a universal symbol of toxic control. In a twisted way, it felt emotionally true. He didn't need to physically scroll through my messages to be invasive. His refusal to participate in my life felt like its own kind of surveillance, a way of controlling my happiness by limiting its scope. This lie wasn't a lie, I told myself, it was a metaphor. A truth with different details. My thumbs, slick with a nervous sweat, hovered over the keyboard. I saw a flash of his face in my mind, the way he looked at me when he thought I wasn't paying attention, full of unguarded affection. I squeezed my eyes shut and pushed the image away, replacing it with the cold, closed office door. I typed it out. It's more than just him hating my friends, guys. Honestly, I think he's got a controlling streak. It's like he wants to keep me in this little bubble. I even suspect he secretly checks my phone sometimes, just looking for a reason to be mad so I can't go out. I hit send. The effect was instantaneous. The chat exploded. He what? Maya typed back instantly. Checks your phone? Alina, that's a massive red flag. That is not okay. Get out of there, seriously. That's not just being an introvert, that's classic abuser behavior. We're coming over right now, unlock your doors. Reading their furious replies, a sick, twisted sense of satisfaction washed over me. This was power. He had shut me out, but I had just turned his quiet, private world into a public spectacle. I had won. They weren't just on my side anymore, they were my army. I had successfully framed the narrative. I was the poor, long-suffering girlfriend, and Nathan was the villain. In that moment, huddled on the couch, phone glowing in my hands, that feeling of victory was all that mattered. I had to lock my phone and place it face down, as if the screen itself was judging me. The victory felt hollow, metallic, the taste of a coin held too long on the tongue, but it was a victory nonetheless. The tragic irony is that I never even saw it coming. The very tool I used to create my fiction became the instrument of my destruction. In the group chat, amidst the chorus of outrage and support, was Zoe. Zoe works in finance, a few degrees of separation from Nathan's world, something I'd never given a second thought. She's more of a fringe friend, someone who is always there but rarely at the center of things. While everyone else was fanning the flames, Zoe's messages were conspicuously absent. I didn't notice at the time, too high on the validation. It turns out Zoe has a conscience, or maybe she just doesn't like drama she can't verify. She also happens to be good friends with a guy named Philip, who works on the same floor as Nathan. The accusation about the phone, apparently, didn't sit right with her. It felt too extreme, too out of character for the quiet, reserved guy she'd heard Philip mention. So she did what she thought was the right thing. She took a screenshot of my lie, of that single, explosive message, and sent it to Philip. Hey, this is super weird, but is this what Nathan is really like? Alina is saying some scary stuff. Philip, seeing his friend's name dragged through the mud with a serious accusation, forwarded it to Nathan. I spent the next hour basking in the glow of my friend's support, mapping out my righteous breakup speech. I was so wrapped up in my performance that I didn't even hear the office door open. He didn't storm out, he didn't yell. Nathan just walked calmly into the living room, his face a pale, unreadable mask. My heart lurched. I thought he was coming to apologize. He stopped in front of the couch and wordlessly placed his phone down on the coffee table, screen up. It was the screenshot. My words, stark and black against the white background, stared back at me. I even suspect he secretly checks my phone sometimes. The air was sucked out of the room. My entire body went cold, then hot, a sickening wave of adrenaline and shame crashing over me. I opened my mouth to say something, that it was a joke, that I was just mad, that I didn't mean it, but no sound came out. My throat had closed up. He finally looked at me, and his eyes, which were usually so warm and full of life, were completely empty. There was no anger, no sadness, just a vast, terrifying void. It was the look of someone staring at a stranger. I have never, not once, touched your phone without your permission, Alina, he said, his voice eerily steady. I have never violated your privacy. That is my line, it has always been my lines. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle in the dead air between us. We're done. And then, before I could even process the finality of that statement, he turned and walked toward our bedroom. Not to argue, not to talk, to pack. The cold cutoff had begun. It was quiet, efficient, and absolutely brutal. His departure was a masterclass in silent efficiency. While I sat frozen on the couch, trapped in a paralytic state of shock and self-loathing, he moved through the apartment with a calm, deliberate purpose. There were no slammed doors, no angry sighs. Just the quiet, methodical sounds of a life being neatly excised from mine, the soft zip of a duffel bag, the clink of his watch and keys being dropped into a box, the rustle of clothes being pulled from hangers. Each sound was a nail being hammered into the coffin of our relationship. When he was done, he walked back to the living room with one bag and one box. He didn't even look at me. He just placed his apartment key on the now empty space on the coffee table next to his phone. Then he walked out the door and closed it gently behind him. The click of the lock was the loudest sound I had ever heard. For a few minutes, I just sat there, my mind a screaming white void. Then the panic hit me like a physical blow. I scrambled for my phone, my fingers fumbling as I tried to call him. The call went straight to voicemail. I tried again, voicemail. I sent a frantic text. Nathan, please wait, we need to talk. I'm so sorry, I was just angry, I didn't mean it. The message sent, one gray check mark. It never turned blue. I tried WhatsApp. I tried Instagram, nothing. I had been blocked everywhere instantly. My panic turned to desperation. I went back to the one place this had all started, the group chat. My fingers flew, a jumble of incoherent apologies and explanations. Guys, it was a misunderstanding. I was just upset. It was a stupid joke. I never thought he'd see it. Please, someone talk to him for me. The silence in the chat was deafening. After what felt like an eternity, a message from Zoe appeared. It wasn't addressed to me, but to the whole group, a public execution of my character. Elena, that wasn't a joke. That was a malicious lie you told to win an argument. You assassinated a good person's character for sympathy points and you got caught. Don't drag the rest of us into your mess. That was the first reality check, the blunt talk I never asked for but deeply deserved. After her message, a few people typed and then deleted their messages. The awkward distancing had begun. Maya, my best friend, sent me a private message that was even more devastating in its quiet disappointment. I can't talk about this right now, Alina. I'm just really shocked. I was completely alone. The army I had so proudly assembled just an hour ago had vanished, leaving me standing in the rubble of the world I had just firebombed. The victory, the validation, it had all curdled into this sick, isolating shame. I had lost him, and in the process, I had shown my friends exactly who I was capable of being. A few weeks have passed. The silence in the apartment is a living entity, a constant humming reminder of his absence. I've tried to claw my way back to normalcy, but it's like trying to walk on broken glass. At work, I'm a ghost, staring at spreadsheets until the numbers blur into meaningless squiggles. With my friends, I'm a pariah. The group chat is still mostly silent, and when plans are made, I'm conveniently left off the list. No one has been explicitly cruel, but the coordinated awkwardness, the polite but firm distance, is a special kind of hell. I ran into Philip, Nathan's colleague, at a coffee shop last week. He saw me, and for a split second, his face registered a flicker of recognition, followed immediately by a look of profound discomfort. He gave me a curt, tight-lipped nod and practically fled the store. But in that brief, agonizing moment, he became the echo of a conversation I'll never be privy to. I can only imagine what Nathan must have told him, not in anger, but with that soul-crushing disappointment I saw in his eyes. He probably just said, "She lied about me, about something that really mattered." And that simple, unadorned truth is more damning than any angry rant could ever be. Tonight, I ended up at a bar downtown, a place neither Nathan nor I ever went to. I was talking to some guy, a stranger whose name I've already forgotten. He asked about my ex. The words just tumbled out of my mouth, a prepackaged, brittle performance I've been perfecting in my head. "Oh, my ex," I said, forcing a laugh that sounded like tearing paper. God, total control freak. So glad I dodged that bullet. I'm free now, you know. I even rolled my eyes for effect, a perfect portrait of the unbothered, empowered single woman. The guy bought it, nodding sympathetically, but the performance ended the moment I walked through my apartment door. The lie tasted like ash in my mouth. I dropped my keys on the entryway table, and my eyes landed on the small, empty ceramic tray next to them. It was his. The tray where he used to drop his car keys and wallet every single day. A stupid $5 piece of pottery we bought at a street fair. I had told myself to throw it away a dozen times, but I couldn't. My tough girl facade didn't just crack. It disintegrated. A sob tore its way out of my chest, raw and ugly. I slid down the door, my legs giving out from under me, and pulled the empty tray into my lap. I sat there on the floor in the suffocating silence of the life I broke, clutching a piece of cheap ceramic as if it were the most precious thing in the world, and cried until I had nothing left.